Hello, my name is Kimsey, and welcome to another episode of Medieval Dynasty. In today's episode, we are going to be planting our first crops, and we are going to go ahead and get some missions done. Let's get to it. All right, so let's go back. I think I want to put my my field kind of back here. In this open area back here. I think I'll put most of my houses in the kind of foresty area near the lake. And then the fields and animals and stuff back here. So, yeah, I think I kind of like this spot here. So let's see, probably need my hoe, which it doesn't look like I have equipped. So, let's see, do I have one in my inventory? If I can remember how to do that. One of these buttons, there we go. Okay, let's see, okay, I'm just gonna, okay, there's my hoe, put it in one of the slots. Okay. So let's, I guess, go ahead and make the field. How does this work? Do I need to do something special for this? Let's see. What would it be under? What would it be under? Buildings. Oh, there we go. Orchard. Field. Okay, that'll work. Okay, then we need 15, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 3. Well, fields are arranged in tiles. Every single one can hold up to one different plant type. Fields require several agricultural treatments like grubbing, fertilizing, plowing, sowing, gathering vegetables, and harvesting grains. All right, lots of work. Okay, so now I assume we do our plow. There we go. All right, last couple ones. Let's see. So much seed to throw down. We're gonna have lots of cabbages come the fall. All right, last couple ones here. Oh, God, they're getting close. You really do, like someone said, you really gotta get the right angle for it. All right, perfect. Got the field all done. Yay. Well, I think before I build all these buildings, I want to go do the Ungo story. We've had that up there for a while, so let's go talk to Sambor. All right. Hello, Sambor. I think you're lost, boy. Sorry, I didn't mean to just... Wait a second. Look me in the eye and stop shivering and crying for out loud, huh? Black and blue, you're Jordan's family, aren't you? Yes, my name's Ransomere. You must be Sambor then. And how do you know that? I was talking with Ungost. He told me that you were a part of the Reminders as well. Part of what now? The pack? The one with Ungost and Jordan? I've never heard of this idiotic name in my life. Oh, sorry. Maybe I've made a mistake. We were called the Undying Fist. Oh my, that's so much worse. Now that's a lot better name. Let's stroke his ego. You're damn right it is. That's because I came up with it. Everyone loved it. No idea why Ingle lied to you like that. I'm sure he was just jealous about your creativity. Yeah, of course he was. And not only about that. Anyway, I would like to hear some stories about my uncle and the pack's adventures all together. It's an amazing coincidence because I would love to spend my time telling old tales by the crackling fire. Oh my, really? No. Leave my property and forget where it is. Oh, come on. It will only take a moment. A moment really. Just tell me, what was my uncle like? How did you become a part of the Undying Fist? And what exactly did you do as the pack? You don't know what we did? Ghost didn't get to that part yet. All right, but be quiet and try to be less annoying. Where should I begin? Right, it all started when Jordan left his home. He was 18 at the time, if I remember correctly. And that clever bastard was always too big a fish for his birthplace, and he knew that. He left as soon as he could, but cleverness at such a young age always means two things, being arrogant and hot-headed. His plan was to set out on a big adventure. That's it. Pretty detailed, huh? A path like that paved with skeletons of young idiots, but none of them was Jordan either way. He was wandering for days. Days soon turned to weeks, and rations into dust. He was useless as a hunter, back then at least, so berries and mushrooms was all he could get. So obviously, he needed some coins. He came across a manor with orchards so vast they seemed like an ocean. Jordan managed to find some work there. A week of back-breaking labor had passed. His hands were covered in blisters, red skin from the scorching sun, knees pulsating from the pain. I must say, you're really an amazing storyteller. I wasn't expecting that. Shut up. Do you want me to finish? Where was I? Oh, right. He was exhausted from all the strenuous work he's done. Went to the lord of the manor with a smile on his face, collected payment. His stomach was already full with fantasies of all the delicious treats he would dream of buying, and all of that was ruined by the hand of the lord holding a couple of lousy coins. Jordan was furious. That was merely a fraction of the pay he was supposed to acquire. He started shouting at the lord, demanding justice. Peasants were just flies to the lord. Disgusting, replaceable insects. And what do you do with a fly which buzzes too loudly? Both of the lord's palms struck Jordan's ears with the strength of an ox. Ouch. Jordan fell to the ground stunned, and the lord's guards threw him out of the manor like garbage, stealing what few pathetic coins while doing so. If I may add, it wasn't until evening when Jordan regained his hearing, and with it came a fervent thought of revenge. Your uncle was quite a capable fighter when I met him 10 years later, but he wasn't back then. He knew the guards would massacre him if he only came close, so he needed to find another way to fulfill his vengeance. Jordan was always ambitious. but that hatred fueled him like nothing before. And what happened next? What came later was me becoming bored of this conversation. Go away. No way, you can't leave me like this. I can do whatever I want. Scram. I have things to do. What things? I'll do them for you. Anything you want. Just please tell me the whole story. Damn, you're annoying. Please, 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 please. No, I'm not. Please, please, please. Fine. Just shut up already. Just say what needs to be done. You won't regret it. Here, grab this shovel. It's a piece of crap, but it will do. There are clay deposits behind my house. Go and dig up some clay for me. On it, boss. Clay, that's your pressing need? Alright. Let's dig up some clay. Let's shovel. There we go. Alright, where's this next deposit? Oh, there's a bunch back here. Apparently, if I ever need clay, I know where to go. Perfect. Alright, here's all the clay you wanted. Well, did you finish the story now? Alright. So, as I've already said, Jordan wasn't much of a fighter back then. He didn't have any money, nor connections. But he had one thing, an unusual ability. You see, from an early age, Jordan was an exceptionally good liar. No sweaty palms, no voice cracks, no tells really. Calm, steady breaths, eye contact held all the way. He eventually managed to handle any kind of pressure, even in the craziest situations. But it wasn't that at first. He felt no pressure lying, no stress at all. It was as natural for him as breathing. He had absolutely no remorse. It's very interesting and all, but what happened with the Lord? He came up with a plan so immensely moronic and unrealistic that it's really hard to believe what it worked so perfectly. At first, he convinced the nearby town's tailor to sew him a whole new set of clothes worthy of the most wealthy nobleman, the finest of fabrics, silken threads, you name it, horrendously expensive. So how did he manage to afford it, you may ask? It's simple. He didn't pay for it, so he stole it. I said no such thing. Jordan wasn't a thief. Not in the traditional meaning of the word, at least. Apart from that, did I finish the damn story? When wearing his new clothes, he traveled to a castle of a king of that realm and entered it. Okay, now I know that you're making all of this up. That simply isn't possible. Ha, you're absolutely right. It is. It's mad to even consider trying to pull that off. But Jordan, he just walked straight in. I don't blame you for doubting me. Damn, I would have been the first to doubt a thing like that if I didn't see him doing it hundreds of times later with my own eyes. Anyway, he walked right into the castle, and once he was there, he followed through with his plan, which was betting his wife. Whose wife? The king's. The king's wife. So, the queen. Indeed. So let me get this straight. The plan was to get into the castle and lay with the queen. Exactly that. You were right. That sounds absurdly idiotic plan I've ever heard of. I told you, but it worked like a charm. I still don't get it. What worked? What was he accomplished by that? After the lovemaking, he dressed up, deliberately leaving his undergarments on the bedside, and told the queen he'd be right back with some refreshments. Then he went to one of the king's guards and told him that he saw the queen with company of a strange man sneaking into one of the chambers. The guards rushed in and witnessed the queen naked in bed with the man's clothes right next to her. As loyal servant, the guards reported the matter directly to the king himself, who, as you can probably imagine, became furious to say the least. He couldn't really punish his wife. That would be bad for his reputation, but he could pursue her lover. Unfortunately for him, at this point, Jordan was long gone from the castle, riding a beautiful bay mare he borrowed from the stable into the sunset. I still don't get it. You see, the king didn't catch the filthy seducer, but it didn't mean he couldn't track him down to find him. To do so, the only track he could follow was the one Jordan left behind. Except his undergarments and a pleasurable memory for the queen, his name, not his real name, of course, the name he used when introducing himself to the queen was the Lord of the Orchards. Precisely. Now you get it. Ha, that's incredible. The Lord's head must have left the company of his body pretty promptly. Didn't get the Lord hangs? That seems pretty extreme. He didn't get killed. That wouldn't be Jordan's style. The queen begged for his life to be spared, so the king threw him up in the dungeon where he spent all the days he had left. Jordan was amazing. All that with just the power of his wits and speech? He surely showed the Lord that he shouldn't have wronged him. Don't get the wrong idea about his reasons. Jordan didn't get through all of that just because what the Lord did to him. You see, the Lord was a cruel, merciless brute. He mistreated all of his subjects, killed for fun, raped for sport. People used to call him Laundryman because one of his habits was drowning his bastards in the lake right after birth, like unwanted kittens. Ugh. Jordan needed to stop him, and he did, but that's not the end of the story. After the Lord's capture, someone had to take his place. He didn't have any rightful successors, but then, with just an uncanny perfect timing, came a distant cousin of the Lord's, a charming young man with 2 different eyes. You have to be kidding me. He easily acquired all possessions of his sentenced relative, but Jordan didn't want any of that, not for himself, so he took only 3 bags of coins from the treasury and left everything else in the hands of the peasants. They were elated. He is still probably worshipped there, I can tell you that. Oh, and one more thing. Why 3 bags, you might ask? That's easy. 1 for the tailor, another for the stableman who took the horse from, and the last for himself, with the exact amount of coins he was rightfully supposed to earn for his work at the orchard. I told you Jordan wasn't a thief, and that was it. He mounted his beautiful mare and left the realm, continuing his adventures. At least that's the story he used to tell us. So nothing of that may be true at all, haha. But that's just how it was with Jordan. Now I understand what you and Ungus were talking about. He really does seem surreal. I can't believe that you're talking about my uncle. My mother used to portray him as simple merchant. Successful, but normal. Mortal. Yeah, I was wondering if he actually was mortal many times. Well, now we know. But wait, you didn't tell me about the purpose of the Undying Fist. Oh, I thought it would be obvious now. On the day Jordan's mission was born, he knew that the spoiled, rotten elites like that were scattered all around the world, draining life and dignity from hard-working simple folk, and that he was capable of stopping them, to some extent at least. So that's exactly what he started doing, overthrowing corrupted lords and giving back to the community. He sounds like a hero. A true hero. Well, it wasn't like, yeah, I guess you could say that. So how did you join the pack? Jordan was working solo until he met Ungust. The rat's agile fingers could do the work where the Lord Jordan's tongue couldn't. And then they needed someone with other talents they were lacking, like strength, manliness, bravery, independence, gallantry, integrity. Right, I think I get the picture. So they recruited the best there was. I was between jobs at the time, so I gave them a chance. And finally, the pack started to really make a difference. But I don't like to brag. Oh yes, I've noticed. Humble to the bone. I have a difference of opinion about that. Humble. Thank you for noticing. People at my level don't need to boast about our skills. Just like the sun didn't need to prove it's bright. Anyhow, I already spoke more words to you than I did in the last 5 years to anybody, so it's time for you to go. And preferably don't come back, ever. It was a great pleasure and a true honor. Yeah, I don't care. Leave now. And return for giving away my location. Deliver a delicious meal to Ungust. It's his favorite, a knuckle sandwich. Do you want me to hit him in the face? Did I stutter? No, sir. Of course, sir. I'm on my way, sir. All right. Let's go deliver a knuckle sandwich, I guess. All right. Talking to Ungust. It's always nice to see you, Ransomere. Ghost, hello. I've talked with Sambor. He's a real sweetheart, isn't he? The sweetest, like a jar of honey. Are you kidding? He was the most terrifying person I've ever met. That's Sambor for you. I see. He did tell me about his uncle, though. The story about the Lord of the Orchards. He has some unexpectedly good storytelling skills, doesn't he? Yes, he really does. I was downright astonished by that. One time, I swear he went over a year without speaking a single word, but when we were sitting by the fire, he remembered some anecdote, laughed out loud, and began his tale. Went from a total mute to the master of ceremonies. The narrative was so gripping, it was hard not to listen. He even did voices. After that finished, he became silent again. I never fully understood that side of him. A theater genius trapped in the body of a bear wrestler. He actually asked me to give you something. Really? And what was that? A knuckle sandwich. Yeah, that sounds exactly like Sambor. So, are you going to deliver? Do you want me to? Can't. I'm afraid we've lost it somewhere on the way. Do you want me to? Oh, sure. I love people punching me in the face. All around the valley, I'm known for it. Would you be so kind to do it for free, though? I'm all out of my being punched in the face budget. Really? Okay, you're joking. I started to worry there for a second. Don't. Sambor likes to say crap like that. But if he asks, I'll tell him you knocked me out cold. Just out of curiosity, what did Sambor tell you about him becoming a part of the pack? He said that you were looking for the best to recruit and that he was the obvious choice. Yeah, that seems like something he would say. Well, he was clearly full of crap. That's the truth, isn't it? It's not a pleasant memory, but I believe you deserve to know the whole story. We didn't recruit him. Well, I guess we did. Jordan did. But that wasn't a matter of choice. When Jordan and I started to follow his mission together, we were rather successful. Everything was going smoothly. Too easy, even. We were doing a lot of good, putting many well-deserved smiles on oppressed faces. That's when we let our guards down. There was a secret guild formed by a few of the higher-ranking knights and barons. We called them the Vendors. Bunch of really heartless bastards. Their most lucrative business was selling a living merchandise. And no, I'm not talking about animals. Please don't say it. Slavery was strictly forbidden in that realm. The queen was adamant that, well, the vendors had their own set of rules to follow. They caged them like cattle, mostly women and children, forced to fight rats for poor food rations they were being given in the damp dungeons they were held in. The guild preferred quantity over quality, so they didn't care about diseases, and they didn't tend to wounds. I think I'm going to be sick. Sometimes it took them weeks to get the dead out of the cages, survival of the fittest, or rather outlasting of the least fortunate. It was simply horrible. If you ask me, all of the damned guild deserved a cruel, slow death. But that wasn't how we operated. Jordan made it very clear from day one we were never to take a life. That was the most important of rules. Anyway, we managed to get everyone out. The carriages full of broken people. Even the horses kept their heads low, mourning. The despair in the air was even more poisonous than the stench of rotting flesh. And in all of that, we forgot to make ourselves safe as well. We were caught by the mercenaries who brought us to torture chamber. Yes, this gruesome place had even worse room hidden inside. Unbelievable. The vendors weren't in their patient mood, so they sent their worst torturer right away. I was horror-struck, truly petrified, could barely breathe. Jordan didn't say a word, he just looked at me. His eyes were relaxed but focused. I realized he wanted me to be calm as well, but I just couldn't. He went first. The torturer strapped Jordan to a chair and just started swinging. His fists were like anvils. Every hit drew blood or broke bones. In a matter of seconds, Jordan's face looked like a bloody pulp. The only thing poking through it was his smile. It was one of many times I wondered if he was even human. The torturer quickly realized that he needed different tools for such a unique specimen and went to grab his blades. That's when Jordan started talking. He was making him offers, one after another, but the torturer kept carving his torso, like he was preparing a steak to be grilled. There was so much blood I could taste it in my mouth. I wanted to pass out, just to run away from all of that, but I couldn't. My heart was pounding way too fast. That's horrible. Suddenly, the torturer stopped. He looked at me and back at Jordan. This was the only thing he said. If you're lying, you're going to watch me do the same to him. I was about to puke, but Jordan just nodded. So he untied us both and helped us escape. There were more mercenaries on our way, heavily armored, but no one stopped us. Even they were terrified of that guy. We managed to get out in one piece. Well, we managed to get out alive. Jordan's wounds wouldn't heal for weeks, and even after he was scarred so badly, it looked like he had chainmail stitched to his skin. But we had escaped death, and its emissary became one of us. So the torturer was Sambor, wasn't it? Yes. I have no words. I'm sorry this happened to you. Now I understand why Sambor didn't want to tell the truth. It sounds absolutely horrid. To be honest, the nightmare of that night never stopped. How could you want a person like that amongst your troop? You think I wanted that cutthroat anywhere near me? I couldn't get a wink of sleep with him around for days. I was constantly watching my back, watching his every move. So why didn't you blow him off? It's simple. Jordan made a deal with him, promised him the only thing that mattered to that brute, which was money. A whole lot more than what the guild was paying him, and a cut of every heist that we did. But you couldn't just pay him off or run away. That's not the way Jordan did things. He was a master liar, but when he gave someone his word for real, he never backed down. Besides, as we later found out, Sambor wasn't evil in his nature. He was just a true soldier. Did what was asked of him. Jordan spent hours talking with him, explaining our rules of conduct. Sambor never broke any of them, not once. That's incredible. Your lives, I mean. I don't think I would be able to handle all of that. Honestly, I hope you never will have to. I've been through a lot, and after all these years, the thing that I wish most is to have a boring, steady life. I'm not the type of person to get bored. There's always something to do. Compared to your stories, boring life sounds pleasant. I'm glad to hear that. My next request won't be boring to you at all. Sure thing, what do you need? I need you to go to find Ida and get my teeth back from her. Consider it done. That sounds perfectly dull. Oh, you need it for the, you know? I have no idea what you're talking about. The beheading? Excuse me? Do you think that I'm the executioner? And on top of that, do you think people getting decapitated was Sis? I think it would be best to get on my way to Burrow. Take care. Alright, guys. So I think this is where I'm probably gonna call it. I think we're gonna go ahead next episode and start all these buildings that we have to construct. So I will look forward to doing that with y'all next time.